I'm trying an experiment. I've had trouble getting this hub to communicate with the batteries. I got it disconnected right now. Fixing to try a few things. But first, I'm wondering if I'm not having a problem with this dip switch. So I'm going to attempt to read the battery using the BM test software. I'm going to set the battery to address 0, which is where it's at now. I've already turned the battery off and back on. I'm going to attempt to read it at address 0. I'm going to change it to 1 and attempt to read it, and then to 2, and then to 3. So I'm wondering if I'm not having a problem with this dip switch for this particular battery. All right, let me plug it in and see what we got. All right, let's connect. Status port failed. Refresh the port. Now that is interesting because it was just working. Okay. Port opened successfully. Now let's get battery info. Let's clear this sequence. Go start address 0. Add that to sequence. It's okay. We got reading. Okay. It's at 90%. All right, I'm going to go back up here to configure. I'm going to disconnect it. I'm going to turn this, change this address down here to 1. That's 1 up, 3 down. Let's cycle the battery. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and close this software out. We'll turn the battery back on, let it boot up. Okay, it's back on. Let's open it back up. The BM test software. All right, it said it connected. Let's go to battery info. Clear the sequence. Go to address 1. Add that to the sequence. Okay, it's not populating. Okay, let's go back. Add that to address 0. First, I'm going to clear this sequence. Add address 0 back in there. Let's see what happens. Okay. Now, even though I have, says address 0, I'm getting a reading, even though I have this set up at 1. So I'm wondering if I'm not having a problem with this dip switch. All right, I'm going to go back and clear this out. That's starting address 0. I'm going to go back to 1. It's not showing up. All right, I'll go back here, disconnect it, close this out. I'm going to come here. I'm going to set this dip switch to port address 2. That's 1 down, 2 up, 3 and 4 down. I'll cycle this. Let the battery boot up. All right, it's booted. Now let's open the program. Okay, it says the port successfully opened. Let's go to the battery info. Shows nothing on 1. Let's clear it. Let's go to number 2. Okay, it populated on address 2. And I'm going to go to address 0 just for the heck of it and see if there's anything there. There's nothing there. It's in cycle down to it and it's showing there's nothing. Okay, so it worked on address 0, it worked on address 2, it didn't work on address 1. Go back, configure, disconnect again. Close that out. Now I'm going to change this to 3. 1 and 2 up, 3 and 4 down. I'm going to cycle the battery. Boot it back up. All right, it's on. Let's open this up. All right, it says it's connected. Go to the battery info. Clear the sequence. Let's go to 3. Okay, now 3 is not showing up. Now let's go to address 2. Let's add that to sequence. Okay, now address 2 is coming up. So it looks like to me that this first dip switch, number 1, is not working. It's not reading. So that may mean a couple things. I got a bad dip switch, which is most likely. I mean, it kind of moves around in there a little bit. But I could probably still use this battery on even number addresses. I'm going to change the address to another even number. And let's see what happens. So I'm going to go 1 and 2 down, 1 up, 4 down. Let me disconnect again. And I'm going to put these 1 and 2 down. Turn number 3 up. Gotta cycle this. So this should be number 4, address 4. So let's see what happens. All right, it's connected. Battery info. Clear that sequence. Let's go to battery number 4. There we go. All right, it's showing up on 4. Let's make sure it's not showing up on 2. Gonna add that as well. I'm getting nothing on 2. So I think I'm pretty satisfied that the problem is with that first dip switch. It's not working. I'm going to do it one more battery. I might do it 2 more times real quick. I'm going to go to number 5, address 5, and see if I get anything there. All right, so that 5 is 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, 4 down. Boot it back up. It says it's connected. Go to battery info. Let's go to start address. Let's see, let's clear that sequence first. Start address 5. All right, now let's go to add address 4. There we go. Okay, all right, that's the problem. This dip switch, that one right there, number 1 on this dip switch, is bad. It's not showing on. Now I don't know if that's something that can be changed. If it's not, it's not that really a big deal, I don't think. I can relocate this battery in this bank. I'll just put a note on here that says only use on even number addresses. Okay.